Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the World Journey Mission 4 against Sabo and Koala. So if you guys don't know how this event works, basically there are a bunch of units that are boosted, namely the World Journey units, and this event can only be cleared 20 times. Now, the Sabo and the Koala, the World Journey ones that are available on the banner at the moment, will actually give you an extra 4 drops per character. So in today's video, I have done my best to maximize that with a friend captain team, with one team that uses all the boosters, and then another team that can just kind of clear it nice and quickly for you guys that just really don't care, just want to get the runs done and just be done with the content. So with that said, let's dive in. Alright, so the first team in the video is utilizing a Roger captain with a friend Sabo. So this is the team, that was the support. Let's dive in. Alright, so over here on stage 3, we come up against Koala. Now, this particular team utilizes a friend Sabo. We have Sabo and Koala on the team. So if you guys have these 3 units, you do want to try and maximize your gains as much as possible by utilizing all 3. Well, 2, but you guys know the gist. Against Koala, Koala actually gives us 2 turns of special blind. Now, that 2 turns of special blind doesn't mean jack shit. Just attack through it. With the switchability of Shanks' crew, you can just get so much damage output that you can just absolutely melt Koala and move on to the next stage, which is really, really nice. Moving on to stage 4, though, we come up against Sabo now. Now, against Sabo, he is going to turn into a Dex unit, and he also changes our orbs into block orbs, locks them, puts up 2 turns of threshold, and gives us 7 turns of bind. So normally with sockets, that 7 turns will go down to 5 turns, but I was being super lazy and I just couldn't be bothered socketing the units. So I just slapped on Whitey Bay to the Koala. It's not essential, just if you max your sockets, you will be fine. Then we're going to use the Sabo special just because we have 2 of them, so why the hell not? We can switch with Shanks' crew to give ourselves an attack buff, and then we can just absolutely melt Sabo. No issues whatsoever. Once you kill Sabo, obviously he runs away because we are going to fight him again on the final stage, obviously. He had about 3.5 million health, apparently, which is pretty cool. Moving on to the final stage, though, we come up against Sabo and Koala. They are going to be a Dex, and I'm pretty sure Koala turns into an Int unit. They talk about taking treasure for some reason. They blow away all your positive effects. But with Roger, you can get around that. You can obviously use the Odin special with the Roger trick, but that way you won't really have a big attack boost on this final stage. So I felt it was probably better to just hang on to that Roger special, and then you will be in good stead after that. You do get 2 turns of hunger on this particular stage though, which is a little bit annoying, but with the limit break of the Sabo and the Koala, you can actually get around that easy peasy. Come on, Koala, hurry up. So Koala also gives us 4 turns of attack down, and Sabo has 5 turns of resilient. So we can use the super typing of Roger to give ourselves a full board of orbs. We can then use Odin to give us a full board of Wano orbs and an attack buff to our free spirit units mainly, and slashers, but the only slasher we have is Shanks' crew for this team. And then we've got color affinity with our Sabo, as well as removing the attack down and the resilience. So it works really, really nicely, this particular team. It is super, super easy. As you can see, we just attack with 2 units and we have enough damage to absolutely mop the floor. So that was the Roger and Sabo team with the boosted units. Let's move on to the next team now. Moving on to the next team, we are utilizing a Cerebral-based team with a Koala friend captain. So this is the team that are no supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so on stage 3, we come up against Koala. So against Koala, she gives us that 2 turns of special bind, which is a little bit annoying. But you can switch with Vivi Becca to remove it on themselves. You really just want to do that to get the chain buff. That's really about it. And then we want to switch with Shanks' crew to actually give ourselves an attack buff. Now, I wasn't going to include Shanks' crew on this particular team, but like, he just makes life so much easier. Like, actually so much easier. Plus, the extra chain lock is actually quite nice for the final stage. So I'd highly recommend bringing them if you have them, but I imagine you could probably get away without using them. But it will make your life a little bit harder, to be honest. Just a little bit harder, but I imagine it is definitely doable otherwise. Once we do kill Koala, we can move on to the next stage against Sabo. Now, against Sabo, he turns into a Dex unit, and he also gives us 7 turns of bind, or 8 turns of bind, as well as putting up 3 turns of threshold. Now, that'll go down to 5 turns with sockets, 2 turns of threshold after the preemptive. So what we're going to do here is we're going to remove the bind and the threshold with our Boa special. Now, Boa can remove both of those nice and easily. We can rotate those block orbs into matching with Croc, and because we have a Cerebral captain, we can actually make those orbs that chain lock start at 2.5 and end at 35 times. Now, ideally on this particular stage, I would highly recommend using the Koala special. I totally forgot, and it actually took me way longer to do this stage than it should have. With the Koala special, you should easily take this out in one turn. You don't actually need the Koala special on the next turn. I was just a Mega Spoon and totally forgot. And because I forgot, we lost 2 of our units. So, because we lost 2 of our units, I basically had to wait for them to come back. They will come back if you get them down to a 2-turn cooldown. But it was just super annoying because Sabo just kept doing all this stuff. And it was just so frustrating. Sabo puts up end of turn damage and 4 turns of attack buff. But you really shouldn't even see that, honestly. Like, you should have that extra chain boost to do a lot more damage on that previous stage. You should be able to wipe it in one. And that way you can carry the chain lock over and you pretty much hunky-dory Bob's your uncle, you're good to go. You could also use like the Shanks crew special there, I guess, would be another option. Croc's just great because you can rotate the block orbs there. On the final stage, we come up against Sabo Koala once again. The 2 of them now. There's 5 turns of resilience on the Sabo. They both turn into a Dex and an Int character. They give us 4 turns of attack down, and that's about it. That's pretty much all they do. So we're going to use the special of our Vivi and Rebecca units. We can switch with our Shanks crew to get some more matching orbs. We can get an orb buff with our Neptune. He can also remove the resilience as well as the attack down, and then Shanks crew can actually give us a chain lock, 3.5 times chain lock, which is super nice. But as I mentioned, you should have the Croc carryover. Just that switchability of Shanks crew is just absolutely goated, and it just helps the run so much. But as you can see, this team does it fairly well. Unfortunately, we don't have that much color affinity, so the Vivi Rebecca captain isn't the greatest, but I guess you could easily just use Shanks crew as your captain. Let's move on to the final team now. And the final team of the video is actually utilizing double versus Akainu. So this is the team. Again, there are no supports. So let's dive in. Alright, so we're over here on stage 3, and we come up against Koala-san. Now, Koala is going to special bind us for 2 turns, and that's really about it. We don't have to really worry about this stage too much. We're just going to rely on our normal attacks to actually do a lot of damage to Koala. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to kill her, but because she attacks us, she gives herself that trusty burn mechanic, which is just great because it's literally just going to kill her for us, which is so nice. Once you kill Koala, she runs away because we are going to see her on the final stage. On the next stage now, we actually come up against Sabo. Now, against Sabo, he turns into a Dex unit, and he gives us 8 turns of blind. He puts up 3 turns of threshold. Now, after sockets, that will go down to 5, and the threshold goes down to 2 after preemptive. But because of Kainu's annoying non-ability to stall, we do have to stall a turn here. The only thing that what's his name does is Sabo is he just puts up attack up as well as end of turn damage, so don't stress too much. So once you get your Sachi, Beppo and Penguin special, you can use that. You get yourself a full board of quick orbs through block orbs as well as removing the bind, and which is really nice. We can then use Sobermask to give ourselves an attack buff, as we really don't need him that much on the final stage. And if you really want to here, well, before you could have used the Versa Kainu, Verse ability, but just be mindful that, well, we used it anyway, but just be mindful that Sabo's actually immune to everything. So that buff is really only going to be effective if he attacks you. But with that attack buff that we do get from Sobermask, it is easy peasy lemon squeezy, and we can take out Sabo. Moving on to the final stage against Sabo and Koala now. Against Sabo and Koala, they are going to have 5 turns of resilience on Sabo. They turn into a Dex and an Int unit, so the opposite colors to what they are. They wipe away all of our positive effects and reset our cumulative buffs. They give us 2 turns of Hunger, as well as giving us 4 turns of attack down, I'm pretty sure it is. So this is where Neo Colosseum Neptune comes into play here. You can just use regular Colosseum Neptune, to be honest, but I wanted to make it a little bit different to the previous team, so funny enough, I used the regular Colosseum Neptune. We can get an orb buff and a chain lock with our Akainu special. We can remove the nasty defects like resilience and attack down with the Neptune special. We can then use the, what's her name? The Young Linlin special to give ourselves some recovery orbs. And you can even use her special to give yourself an attack buff. But I thought using the Sobermask attack buff would be a little bit nicer. But nevertheless, you can still get a pretty juicy attack boost with Linlin anyway. But with Linlin, you get the recovery orbs. You can eat one of those recovery orbs. That way you can get around the hunger. And with that, Linlin just melts Koala. So there you guys go. That was the 3 teams against Koala and Sabo for the World Journey Mission number 4. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me if you're new to the channel too. Hit the big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's